Here's the point. There is no Nigerian feminism because there is no Nigerian culture. Some people are still fighting battles that your great grandparent as a Yorùbá girl fought. We did a session here a while back on Yorùbá feminism. And of course, some people hated the word that will use the word feminism. Why would you put feminism beside Yorùbá? I said, because that's the only way to explain what we're about to say. And what was I trying to say? I was saying that when some people's women didn't have a way to speak, even in Europe, Yorùbá women were deposing kings in Abeokuta. When people are disrespected for not being male, in terms of like this kind of obituary, whatever, a Yoruba woman has a right to inheritance in her father's or mother's property. Like, she has that right. But there are parts of Nigeria that is the court that is just making the statement just a couple of years ago about how women should be able to have access to inheritance or have inheritance or whatever. The point is, they have something to fight. I'm not here to say one is better than the other. I'm just saying that I think that this Nigerian thing makes people not to really think properly. There's no Nigerian culture as it relates to women. There are cultural issues on an ethnic group by ethnic group basis. The issues of one ethnic group is not the issue of the other ethnic group. And so when Yoruba people, for instance, are saying, oh, and that's why you notice on Twitter, when they start doing their quote-unquote feminism, they're always angry. And you can tell where the anger is coming from. And you may not understand it, but please understand that when Igbo women get angry, there's a reason for it. But if you're a Yoruba person, you cannot be angry like that. You have your own. See, we're not perfect. We have issues, but it's not the same. And we should stop all this thing of, if they are fighting there, we must also fight together because we have issues. We don't. You, for instance, if something happens, when my dad passed, my sisters, didn't get less than women. So the men got just like the girls got. It's not even something you have to think about. But in some cases, they have to go to court to even get a judgment that will allow the women to get something. And you are fighting as if you have the same experiences. You don't. Just because we're in Nigeria doesn't mean we have the same cultures. We don't. And we are not the same people. So the way some of us move, and then of course you hear something from Igbo. We have two extremes. Some people are fighting as if they're in America. And when you ask them, all the rhetorics are Black American rhetoric. Even the white Americans cannot say those things. It's Black American. You are carrying Black American issues on your head as a Yoruba lady. Abba. Do we have issues? Of course we do. Are they the same? Of course they are not. You come from a line of women who could actually stand up and speak in the palaces, not just as visitors, but as members of cabinet. And you've been doing that for centuries, before Europe even started doing it. If you read the document of Aristotle, for instance, which I studied when I was in school, as one of the courses I took, the concept of citizenship in Greece was actually not extended to women. Aristotle, with all his great philosophy, and of course is respected, but women were not citizens in Greece. Yoruba women were not only citizens, they were sitting in meetings as cabinet members, as Iyalode, being the first woman in the community. They were the ones in charge of economy, the Iyaloja. I'm talking Aristotle. I'm talking Aristotle intentionally because the only person I can compare him with, maybe Orunmila, but even Orunmila's times, the women still had a role. Of course, the men will do what the men will do because they are in charge, but the women always had a role. And in most cases, this is the funny thing, in Yoruba culture, women are seen first as mothers, even when the person talking to them is older than them. And again, I'm not saying we have a perfect culture. We don't. I'm just saying that what we need to work on is not the same thing. The people you are fighting their battle. Their own battle, your own great-grandmother, like your own mothers left that level like 800, 1,000 years ago. I beg, there are some serious things that women can fight, but you have women, for instance, who are heading just about every major bank in Nigeria. You have women who are in every sphere of influence in this country, whether it's tech or banking or music or even ministry or whatever, or education. They are everywhere. The issues that Yoruba women would have, and they do have, and Yoruba men also have issues, they are not the same as issues of other people. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's important for us not I think we are dumbing ourselves down when we try to fight a Nigerian feminist fight. It's ridiculous, because the people you are fighting on behalf, they are still struggling with the idea of, are you going to drink the water that they used to wash the corpse and things like that. And I'm not throwing shit at anybody. I'm just saying that we have different fights. So let them fight their fight. You can support them, but don't bring the anger home. Like in this house, we have our own issue. Well, I'm talking as if we live in the same house, but we have our own issues that we should sort, and that one is not one of it. So I just thought I should put it out there without necessarily going deep into it.